Hello, boys and girls. It is Roxors, and I play games. And today is Theorycraft Thursday on the channel. So what we're doing is we're trying to wrap our brain around some new decks, some new ideas, while still trying to be competitive. So I know you guys have been asking. You're saying, Roxors, I really don't know if Destruction has a viable build. Just kidding. So, no one, including myself, likes Destruction. I think that shows in... Oh, it's tied with Death. So, there you go. But, our underlying theme today for Theorycraft Thursday, if you watched my last video, was playing with wizards. So, we had a pretty cool Chaos Tzeentch Demon Summoning Wizard deck, which was really fun and did really well. So we're looking to see if we can not play Gordrakk, not play Loudmouth. Yeah, there you go. There's all the fun decks I'm sure everyone has played. This is just a little weird brew. But anyway, so Wizards, right? Is Wizards viable in Destruction? And maybe the key to beating Destruction is itself. Ooh. So, if we're playing Wizards, I don't care who you are, but we are playing Snazgar Stink Mullet. That's right. Heroic Act. Rotate a highlighted spell to its last corner. This Heroic Act can only be used once per game. Seems good. So, just like in the last video, we start off with a champion that we really want to focus on. The other one I was looking at is this guy, too. I mean, his ability obviously wants you to play units, but I like how easily it looks like he quests. And that's the other part about Snazgar here, is that he doesn't have any removal. Spell, ability, heal. Seems pretty easy. So, what things do we want to fully rotate once per game? Let's see what options we have. Instant 7 damage seems pretty good for Arcane Bolts. I mean, ultimately, Destruction has a lot of good spells, I feel. I mean, just the healing. If you really need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 healing right off the bat, that seems pretty good. What else? You really need to remove something, you just instantly remove it if they're silly enough to play it in front of you. Nobody's in front of you, you do an instant 7 damage. But something like that, I feel like the whole idea behind quickly rotating something is to get its full value quicker so it doesn't get removed. So something like the healing there is good. An Arcane Bolt obviously has a couple turns to get removed. What I'm really looking at, and mainly because nobody plays it, is Feast of Mork. And that's not a 6, folks, that's a 9. Gain 9 health. Highlighted allies cannot use abilities or heroic acts. At first glance seems pretty bad, but remember, all 3 of those are XXX, so that effect doesn't take into effect. Anyway, but allow myself to introduce myself. So it can just sit there and do nothing, and then sure, that last turn where you gain 9 health, you can't do any heroic acts, which we only have 1, and you can't play any abilities, so you can't chop anything. But 9 health, nothing's dealing you 9 health that you need to chop anyway. So that seems pretty good. So if I start with Feast of Mork, and then why not heal more? Let's get 3 of these in here. Now we're getting somewhere. But now we're getting into the realm where we might want to play more than one wizard. So, back to the guy I was looking at. He's 7. So 7 and 13 gives us 7 left. And I don't think any of the other wizards cost 3? Oh, he does. Interesting. So, now let's just look at the other wizards. Cunning Grot's not going to do anything. Right. It's not going to do anything. And he's remove spell ability spell. If we go back up here, spell ability remove. Again, I'm trying to get away from just a lot of removal because it's very situational. If you play a good player, like if you play against me, I'm never going to play a unit in front of your Riptooth, typically. And as you've seen in a lot of my videos, I talk about how you need to spend time into keeping your opponents off their quests. Meaning you don't play into something when they've got a big old X waiting there. Stuff like that. Make them do a little work. Make them use a tactical formation to get to you. Stuff like that. So right now, well, that's that guy we're on the fence with. Snazgar needs no removal, and he needs a heal. So we know we're playing heals, but we already got 6 forms of healing, and I think we'll add the ability that heals, because it also deals damage, so gain 3 health. So we got healing in spades, which again makes me want to play the Shaman that much more, because now I can just throw down, I mean, in a perfect world, I would throw down the Invigorating, is that what it's called? No, Log Infusion. And then Invigorating Chant. And get 2 rotations off of it. Because that seems pretty good. And he is -1 health, which I'm not a huge fan of. Now, granted, we can get a lot of health back. But you have a bad draw or something like that, then kind of out there. Has to use an ability, which we have 3 of right now. We'll put in the Deadly Chops. So we do have some removal, don't get me wrong. We've got some removal. But from a destruction standpoint, a lot of our blessings aren't going to be useful. Meaning like unit-centric ones. If we're doing wizards. Which we might get into playing a champion. Or a warrior. But then I feel like that's really going to dilute our deck. We're already at 12 actions that are all want to be around wizards. So let's look at the wizards. Spell, last one is removal. This one, the first one's removal, and we blank the ability. And granted, we blank the ability on the Bone Splitter. We're not using that. But we're just looking at easier questing, really. And last but not least, we've got the Sneaky Grog, who's -2 health. But he's just all spells and 1 removal, so he doesn't really need the abilities. So that's not bad. You know what? Let's do it. Let's just throw this guy in here. So now we're at a whopping 26 health. Yikes. And then I think we don't want removal first. I think we want removal last. Right? Got Shaman Spider Rider is 4 and not -1. So let's preserve as much health as we can. We're at 20 and at 26 health. There you go. So now to go over again, we're looking at healing and spells and removal, if we can. So with that being said, this heals us, but we need a unit to do so. And again, we might be there too. Let's take just a quick gander at some warriors that are cheap and see if they add our health. So he's cheap, but he needs beasts. And he still has removal, but he gains us health. And obviously the orc boss, yes, wants orcs and gains us health as well. Okay. I think also the allure of all wizards is that we blank a lot of their abilities or what they're trying to do. So in the mirror, going against a destruction deck, we don't care about sweeping Gore-Grunta. I feel like having a savage, we don't really, if we add a warrior, we don't want ability to be one of the corners. We can add War Boss Recruiter for just heroic act stuff, but I don't think we'll have the points for it. This guy doesn't add to our health, and we're not going to really want abilities, I don't think. You know what? Let's just go with wizards. I think we're okay. So we've got enough healing, I think, to get out of the hole. Now we need to figure out how to kill somebody, right? So spells that do damage. We're going to need removal in some aspect, so let's put the gazes inside. I think we're going to want arcane bolts. Okay. I know this is mitigation. Reduce damage received from highlighted enemies. So it's a shotgun blast. So I think that's a little bit worse than Mystic Shield, if we wanted to run Mystic Shield. The rest of these, I think, just add to... Let's see what this one... Battle Glory, when I highlighted ally damages. We're not going to be doing a ton of that, or at least not consistently. With that being said, I think we put in the Putrid Pubes. And now with 4 wizards, we have an easier chance of dodging their units. And also this sets up, this is very similar to how a big Stabba crew says, hey, you need to play a unit here. So maybe we play this in a place that the unit's not going to get their quest rotated. Again, we're dictating how they have to play. That's always good. So let's get those guys in there. Now we're at 21. We don't need a lot of abilities. We need 1 on him. We need 1 on him. Does everyone have 1? Oh, he doesn't have 1. Good. So we've got the chops. We've got the infusions. I really don't think... I mean, maybe tactical? You know, because we want to move and... We'll get back to that. Spells. Let's see. Any more spells that we need? We've got healing. We've got the gaze. Glory of War. When a highlighted ally... No, we don't have any highlighted allies. I'm going to stop reading right there. Alright, let's do 2 Mystic Shields. War Chance could be interesting just to draw cards. You know, just essentially draw 2 cards over a couple turns. It's not that bad. Maybe Foot of Gork, just as another removal. So if I do 2 of those, we're at 25. Not gonna look at units. Yeah, I think maybe we might get... So let's look at blessings, because again, we're still looking on how to kill something. I feel like we want to play this. I feel like maybe Might of Gork. That's 9 damage that is unaccounted for. Here's our win condition, I think. Bellowing Blade. Increases damage for my abilities by 2. So now the one that heals me for 3, the log infusion, does 4 damage, and it also mitigates 2 from across. So maybe now that gives us a little more clarity on what to use for abilities. And then do I just do Smash and Bash as a do 5 damage? Or do I do Ushering of the Wog that just draws me 3 cards? Questions. I suppose we're going to have to just play. I mean, or we could do this. We have enough removal. When a highlighted enemy unit is removed by a highlighted ally, gain 4 health. That doesn't seem that bad. But is that too much healing? Maybe we give it a go. And you know what? Maybe we do. Alright. I mean, it's thematic. We've got a lot of healing. But now we want more focus on removal. So did I put in 2 Foot of Gorks, and we also want to deal damage with abilities. Will you scatter the forces? Heck yeah, we do. Said no one ever, and we're playing 3 of them. Yeah, buddy. So now, do we do tacticals to move for removal? I think that's the plan. Because it's wonky in that it's not like a unit that we can play the unit and then jump in front of something. Because you can't play an ability. Yeah, I guess that is kind of weird. So it would have to be ability first, then spell. Okay, so to finish off his corner, could be ability, then spell. Snazgar, ability, then heal. Doesn't do anything. Ability, then removal. That seems good. and then he just cares about removal. So, you know what? I think Tacticals made it in. And we got, what, 2 spots? That seems about right. If I do, let's do 1 right now. And it's whether or not we have enough removal now. So we've got 3 chops, 3 gaze of morks, and 2 foot of gorks. I can't help but think I sound like the Swedish chef from the Muppets, the Ork-de-Borks and stuff. But, anywho. Yeah, that might do it. This gets a unit, right? This does. Okay. So that might do it. So I think we go 2 tacticals, and if for whatever reason it is too much, because you gotta remember that the foot of Gork doesn't do any damage either. It rotates things away, but it doesn't do any damage. So I think we made it. Alright. So we've got this monstrosity starting at 26 health. I'd like to think that our opening hand will have some semblance of healing. So our least amount of healing, I mean, technically it's 1, but I think we'll be okay. But who knows? So we will lovingly call this Theory Stink. I can't fit stickball, can I? Theory. Schmeary. There's an H in there somewhere. Schmeary. Seems like something a orc would say. Alright. We have a wizardry destruction deck. Let's get into some games. This has been another installment of a live deck build where we made this monstrosity. Following videos will be some gameplay. Let's get into it. Thanks for watching, guys. Rockstars and Boxers.